The film starts and we see the hero of the story, whose name was John. His house was in the middle of the jungle. John was sitting very comfortably, but suddenly he heard a voice. When he turned around and saw, he fainted, because there was a group of bad people who were enemies of these people. That's why John quickly got up and ran to his house. At the same time, John's dad was sleeping in the house. We hear the voices of the enemies. As soon as he saw outside to take a look at the situation, he got scared, because the enemy people were coming towards his house. By the time John also came home, and now both the father and son pack their things without wasting time, and leave through the back door. They also took John's wife with them, whose condition was very bad. Because of a disease, she was very injured. That's why John's dad realized that he wouldn't be able to run very far, because his daughter-in-law was also not being able to run. Seeing this difficulty, his dad hid John and his wife in a box like a pit there, which was a very dirty place. And it was also difficult to hide. After that, Dad himself went to face the invaders with a rod-like thing. Dad was alone. He went and fought with them. He attacked 3 to 4 enemies and killed them. But how long would he face them alone? They were very dangerous. That's why they attacked Dad in a single blow, and mercilessly killed him. John and his wife were watching all this in the pit. They start crying, very sad. They were helpless. They couldn't do anything. Now, the enemies not only looted their belongings, but also took the bag which was left by them by mistake. That bag was very important for them, because it had the medicines of John's wife. If he didn't get that medicine, his infection could have increased. They were already worried about this. But their disappointment increased even more when they saw that the enemies didn't even leave Dad's dead body. They take their dead body with them like a prey on wood. After some time, when John came home with his wife, he was very sad to see the condition of the house, because they had ruined the whole house. And now, when he saw his wife's wound, his worry increased even more, because the wound was very bad, due to which he had such a high fever that he fainted. Now, they couldn't see any way ahead. There was only despair and death everywhere. But in this difficult time, John was brave, and he collected woods around, and first of all, he fixed the fallen hut, because his wife was inside, and this was his house. Then, he left the water to drink for his wife and to face the enemies, so that he could take his bag back. Now, it was the season of winter. The enemies took all his warm clothes. At this time, John was only wearing t-shirt and shorts, because of which he was shivering in the cold, and he was moving forward slowly. Now it was winter, and he didn't even eat anything. Because of weakness, he fell down. He was about to give up, when he saw a small child in front of him. John saw a new hope in the child's face. That's why he stood up again with courage, and started following the child. As soon as the child saw John, he started running in fear. So he also started running fast behind the child. The child's house was nearby, and as soon as he went inside, he closed the door. John also broke the door with his full strength, and he came inside the house. He saw that there was an old man in the house, and a small child was lying next to him due to fear. Both of them were shivering in the cold. Along with that, they were also afraid of John, that he might harm us. But John's goal was to take only warm clothes from here, which he quietly picked up and left. He then moved forward following the enemy's footprints, and reached a new place, where he lost his consciousness, because he only found his dad's bones here. The enemy had already eaten his flesh. John was completely broken by the sight. Then he buried his dad's bones there. Now John was mad with anger, and he decided to take revenge from the enemy. With this intention, he moved forward again. He saw a tent at a distance, and he didn't go inside directly. To take a dangerous look, he hit the stone on the tent, but when he was assured that there was no one, he went inside. He found a few things there. A box, a match, a knife and a ladder, which he kept with him, so that he could use it later. When he moved forward, he realized that he was lost. He came back to the same place 2 to 3 times. That's why he climbed a tall tree, and tried to find the enemy's location. His idea worked, because he saw smoke rising from a distance. Suddenly, he lost his consciousness. He slipped and fell from such a height. But this caused a problem. The sound of falling made the wild dogs focus on this side, and John hears the barking of many dogs. To save his life, he tries to run, but he fell suddenly. Because of falling from the tree, he got a deep wound in his leg. That's why he started crawling forward. It was night. The fear of the wild dogs also increased. When John was smart here, he collected wood and set it on fire. Then he burnt a piece of wood like a shawl, and faced the dogs with it. Obviously, dogs are afraid of fire. That's why they didn't dare to come close. They all ran away from there. And like this, it was very difficult. John was able to save his life. He then fell asleep here. The next morning, when he woke up, the dogs were gone. John moved forward again. This time, he saw blood coming out of the river. How was the blood coming? He went back a little, where he saw a woman who was washing a knife filled with blood in the river. Now John was smart. He didn't go near her like this, but started keeping an eye on her. As soon as the woman left, John also started following her with a stone. This woman was actually one of the enemies. And because of following her like this, he found out where the enemies were. But John saw that only that woman was there. Then he took advantage of the opportunity and started following her. But then he saw the bell tied with the wires below. That's why he came in carefully. And then he saw his bag. But what was this? When he checked the bag, all the medicines were missing. Now John quickly went inside the house. He started looking for medicines everywhere. But he was unaware of the fact that the woman had seen him. And now she was coming towards him. Then she came from behind and attacked John. She also attacked him. And then they started fighting. Now, even though John was weak because he didn't eat or drink anything, he was still strong. He hit the woman hard. Then he picked up a big stone and hit her in the head, which killed the woman. After killing the woman, he started looking for medicines in the cupboard. But then he lost his mind. He saw that the enemies had returned. That's why he quickly cleansed the blood and erased all the evidence of the fight. Then he hid the woman's body and dragged it out of the house. But when he was taking the body, his axe fell in the middle. And now, because he was coming towards the enemies, he hid the body behind the tree. He also hid behind the tree and kept an eye on it. He saw that this time the enemies had caught the same little boy. He was sad that he couldn't do anything except watch. Now the enemies were preparing to cook. He saw the axe. He realized the danger. And he told this to his other companions. That's why they started searching the whole area. See? John quickly hides the woman's body from the leaves. And he also lay down to hide. After a while, when the enemies returned, he came crawling there and thinks of going inside the house. But then he saw that an injured enemy was guarding the house. John now started waiting for him to go. As soon as he went inside, he started running to save his life, which the enemies had tied to the ground. Now, the boy who saw him and started screaming, he thought that he had come to hurt me. But he made the boy quiet and started opening his ropes, but the boy was not quiet at all. Hearing his voice, the enemies started preparing to come out. But until then, John opened the boy and helped him run. After the boy left, he saw a wooden box. It had a lock on it. John was sure that the medicine must be in this box. That's why he started trying to break the lock. He tried very hard, but he could not break the lock. Then John sees that the enemy's leader has returned.